Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So yesterday was the press conference for Wilder versus Ortiz. We know that Ortiz did not make the press conference due to a flight cancellation from Miami to New York, so he couldn't make that flight. But they did have him on the phone during the press conference, and Ortiz, he was saying a lot of stuff. He says Wilder does a lot of talking. He said Wilder sounds nervous. He keeps forgetting the date of the fight. Yesterday, Wilder kept saying November 14th instead of the 4th. He said it a few times. Then Wilder just claimed that he has, a lot of stuff on his mind. He got some stuff going on the 14th with his children, I think he said. But either way, it's the 4th. Just a little minor mistake, man. Both of these dudes, like I said yesterday in my video, they're damn confident, man. Both of these dudes. Ortiz also went on to say Wilder's not going to come out and knock anybody out in the first round or the third round. He says Wilder's going to do a lot of running around and should be careful about what he's saying in the press conference about knocking people out. All right. He says Wilder's going to come out and do a lot of running. But he also gave Wilder some credit, saying he's not there for nothing and he wouldn't be where he's at as the world champion if he was a horrible boxer. But he does think Wilder fucked up this time, taking him as an opponent. All right, so I like what I'm hearing from both of these dudes, man. I really do. Now I'm thinking about the reach of both of these guys. Usually, for some reason, a lot of fans just believe that Wilder has the longer reach because, I don't know, maybe because he's taller or something, or maybe he just looks like he has longer arms. But on paper, they have Ortiz as 84-inch reach. And Wilder, I've seen two different listings for Wilder, 82 and 83. Regardless, though, damn near about the same. You know what I mean? But it's not one of those fights where Wilder has 82, 83, and his opponent has 77 or something like that. If anything, it's Ortiz with slightly longer reach, or if not, the same. So, but Wilder seems a little bit quicker on his feet, although people get on his footwork. But his movements in and out on his feet seem to be a little bit quicker than Luis Ortiz. Ortiz is more of a upper body movement and head movement, and stepping to the side and stepping to the left and stepping to the right and taking a step in and a step back. He's more economical with his footwork. He's not bouncing, darting in and out type of style. He doesn't fight like that. Like I say, he's more upper body movement, but his feet will stay stationary sometimes. So it's going to come down to, a lot of things. But one thing I am looking at is just the footwork between the two. Seems like Ortiz has better balance. Seems like Wilder's a little bit more springier. You guys know how it is when a southpaw is fighting an orthodox fighter. The lead foot. They're always battling over the lead foot. Who can put their lead foot on the outside of their opponent. The guy that does that is going to be able to create more power with his punches. Normally in a situation like that. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. So they might be stepping on each other's feet. I mean, it's going to be funny looking at the footwork, how that goes down. Spilko's southpaw, but Spilko was more trying to dart in and out, constant head movement. He was fighting like that, fighting at a range. So he was kind of popping in and out with his combinations and the way that he was choosing to fight. Ortiz a little bit more settled down than that. That can get him in trouble, being so stationary and just depending on upper body and head movement. Maybe Wilder's hands are fast enough to connect on him often and early. Or maybe that's what gives him the advantage. Giving that illusion that I'm easy to hit until you start swinging and missing and I start landing heavy counters on you. I cannot wait for this fight, man. There's so many things to cover. What else did I want to talk about this fight? The jabs, the lead foot, body work. I was watching some Deontay Wilder fights, the Further fight. Pretty much, I mean, he won every fight. So at the end of the day, he won the fights. But one thing I was noticing about Wilder, even in a Stavern fight, few fights, man, when he goes in the back foot, sometimes he'll just put up the high guard real quick. So he'll just give up his ribs. He'll give up his body. And, heavyweights, man, especially a guy like Wilder, well, both these guys, but Wilder, he's 6'7", so he can't hide his whole damn body. There's gonna be something there to hit. He's too big. He's too tall. You know what I mean? Uh, Tyson Fury does a good job of having good footwork, but she's a big dude. There's always gonna be something there to hit. You know what I mean? But with Wilder, he gives up his body. He'll just give it to you. You know. So I'm curious to see what Ortiz does with that, and I don't think he's gonna let Wilder go unscathed without going to that body, especially if he tries to press and he can slip the first, slip the jab or the right hand and get in close. I think Wilder will give up his body first as far as just putting up the high guard. Wilder will fight back on the inside. Now, don't get me wrong. He will fight back on the inside. And one thing I think Ortiz will give away, like I said, is he'll stand stationary sometimes and just try to slip and roll your punches. He'll give up his space. He won't move away. Sometimes he'll stand there. But again, he's still moving his head, but his feet are stationary. But he can, I have seen Ortiz move back when Jennings was fighting him. Him and Jennings will work on the inside. Then I've seen Ortiz move back. And again, it's not bouncing around the ring like Ali or Prime Larry Holmes or something. It's just more of pivoting and moving. You know what I mean? Slight steps backwards, pivot, move. He moves like that. So just another video about this fight, man. Just about what I think. I'm doing a few of these. All right, so So in this video, I probably didn't cover a lot of things, or I'm leaving out a lot of things. But I'm just going over right now just the lead foot. Who's going to win the battle of the lead foot, and what are some things that I've noticed these guys will just give up in their fights, in some of their fights. And I think Wilder gives up his body, and I think Luis Ortiz gives up his space sometimes as far as the way he chooses to move when he's going backwards. So y'all let me know what you think in the comment section about these two situations, man. Is there anything else that as far as what do these guys give up? Is there something else I can add to this? Yeah, and another thing, let me just cover this while I'm at it. Wilder, there could be a situation where he may think that he buzzed Ortiz, or he may buzz Ortiz, but Ortiz isn't as hurt as he thinks he is. If Wilder jumps on him and he starts and I get why people say windmill. You know what I mean? It's when Wilder gets guys hurt, he just goes all out assault mode. And I know what he's thinking in his head. He's thinking, I'm about to kill this motherfucker. You know what I mean? That's what he's thinking in his head. But the way he throws his punches is very wild, man. Like the ending of the Gerald Washington fight, just very wild punches. Even the fight when he stopped, what's my man's name? Ali Harrison. Even when he fought him, the very end of that fight was pretty wild. When he got Stavern hurt and Stavern was tackling him, I think he threw some wild punches in there too. Or I think he'll make a mistake if he happens to buzz Ortiz or clips him a good time and tries to jump on him. He goes wild, man. Ortiz will put up the high guard and he'll start the pinpoint shots, depending on how hurt he is. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't even have to be that he's really hurt like that. It's just that if Wilder believes he's hurt, I believe Wilder will jump on him. And he can't go wild, man. At least try to place some shots. You know what I mean? Even if you're not landing them with the full glove, with your knuckle, at least place them, man. Sometimes Wilder gets really wild when he has guys hurt. But with that said, though, and I know people say, because whenever I bring up this example, people always say, yeah, but this guy could have knocked those guys out too. One thing is this: the way I seen Wilder, the way Liakovic and Spilka reacted to getting hit when they got knocked out, that's some scary shit. You can say so-and-so would have knocked him out too, or Spilka got stopped by Jennings before, or not Duapa, but Liakovic lost to this guy. That's fine. That's totally fine that you bring that up. I'm just telling you the way they reacted, man. Spilka was out. That shit was nasty. Yes, Spilka was doing good in the early rounds. I actually had Spilka, and I always say this. I said this on my post-fight to that fight. I had Spilka winning 4-3-1 going into the ninth, and all that shit was erased by one big right hand. that put him to sleep. That was scary. Liakovic. You can say that he was past it. Okay, that's fine, man. But the way that dude was reacting on the canvas after he got hit, that's scary, man. That's scary. I don't care who you are, man. If you're getting in the ring with him, is all the holes he has in his game, when you see that he can generate that type of power, man, that's some scary shit. That is some scary shit right there, man. Looking at Wilder's knockouts again, like I said, some of them are against guys that you never heard of. You can call them bums. But some of them dudes were just unconscious, yo. Like, unconscious. Some guys get a lot of stoppage victories. Even when they're fighting journeyman guys like that, they may get some stoppages where the ref jumps in kind of quick, or, you know what I mean? Or a guy just goes down to a knee because he doesn't really want to fight. And then there's knocking people unconscious. Wilder's a part of that group. As far as today's heavyweights, right now, I'm not comparing him to nobody in the past. I'm talking about right now, he's a part of that set of heavyweights that knocks people unconscious regularly. You know what I mean? Now, there's some guys that didn't get knocked unconscious, all right? But Maine Stavern didn't get knocked unconscious. Duaput didn't get knocked unconscious. So I'm not saying everybody, but he has a lot of those victories, man, where guys are, their body's doing some scary shit after they get knocked out. There was one guy, what was the dude's name? Damn, I forgot that dude's name. The fight was on ESPN, Friday Night Fights, I remember, man, where the dude, he knocked the dude out. So, man, the dude was just, he went down in the splits position with his, just leaning into the ropes in the splits position. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? But again, he didn't knock everybody, so I'm not saying he knocked everybody unconscious, all right? I'm not saying that. Another thing is Wilder, I'll get to that in another video. I'm just making one video right now, man. But y'all let me know what you think about this. I'm so excited for this Luis Ortiz Wilder fight, man. So intriguing from both ends. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.